I think one person who is really worried about their public image in this whole situation is Ryan Reynolds. And now there is a rumor going around that Hollywood is turning its back on Ryan Reynolds, who once had this very pedicured image of being the Hollywood nice guy. That is getting shattered into a million pieces because of his unfortunate association with his own wife,
I
Blake
never
Lively.
saw him as a Hollywood nice guy. I saw him as a guy who played exactly one type of character in every movie. Beyond that, I never thought of him as a Hollywood nice guy.
Well, to be honest, same, but I just had it I just had an unfair assumption about him from the very beginning. I never liked him, and I don't even know if I could pinpoint why.
No, but me, the opposite side of that, like I like him as an actor, and most of the time when he does those roles, he shows up in the corpo slop, and I'm like, great, that was fine, you did your job. But I never saw him as some like down to earth, Keanu Reeves type.
I think that was more maybe from the point of view of women who were a fan of their marriage. There are a lot of people who really idolized Blake and Ryan's marriage and their family life, and they were seen as this Hollywood power couple, an it couple that cheer each other on. And there were a couple stains, like the fact that they got married on a plantation, but you can apologize and move on from that and donate to BLM causes. Yeah. And no one will remember
They'll never forgive him for Green Lantern, but that's besides the point.
But the real issue here is not that he'll be seen as a big meanie jerk. The issue here is that people within his own industry don't see him as trustworthy and easy to work with anymore. So the rumor has it that the war between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively has left the industry questioning Ryan Reynolds' carefully curated nice guy image. Inside sources also claim that Justin Baldoni's team has an ace up their sleeve, which suggests Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively pressured their own talent agency, WME, to drop Justin Baldoni at their behest. That's a claim that both WME and Blake and Ryan deny is true, but it's very clear with the timing of it all that when WME dropped Baldoni, it was their version of taking a side.
It is time for CAA to pick up Justin Baldoni right next to Joe Biden.
CAA picked up Joe Biden and who else?
I don't remember who
Joe
the other one was.
Manchin?
No. I think that said that they represented him at one point, and I was like, why does Joe Manchin have any type of representation at all?
Yeah, that's weird.
But what we need is Justin Baldoni to get involved with the Weekend at Biden's movie that he needs to be in himself, where Joe Biden plays Bernie.
It's his big comeback role.
Yep.
On Variety's website, the comments are mostly not about Blake Lively, but instead what the lawsuit reveals about Ryan Reynolds. One celebrity PR says to Daily Mail, "Beyond question, this has hit him very hard. If he isn't panicking about it, then he definitely should be. But I do hear that he is. It makes people doubt the authenticity of his nice guy image, and as he's been known for that for decades." They actually showed these paparazzi photos from a few days ago where Ryan Reynolds appears to be packing up the family for a vacation. Like they're out of here. They're going to be exiled to some other country.
I did see this photo of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, which was posted with a Hootie and the Blowfish song, which is an interesting choice.
Was that on his social media or hers?
Yes, his.
Okay, because I assume that she's gone dark.
It's on his Instagram story.
Got it. Given that the nice pool character based on Justin Baldoni doesn't exist in Marvel Comics, we're left to ask, would a nice guy really have created a character in order to mock his wife's co-star? This is playing very badly in Hollywood, where they take union representation and credits very seriously.
Oh yeah, like who gets we had this whole discussion the other day, like who gets who gets credited first, second, third, fourth,
There's
and
a whole,
credits.
culture.
There's a whole
that.
it's tied to their contracts and their salaries, so it's very, very important.
So they credited in a pseudonym, Gordon Reynolds, with playing Nice Pool. And they also credited the same pseudonym of Gordon Reynolds to writing the iconic rooftop scene in It Ends With Us. And this was completely unknown to Justin Baldoni until months later when the internet
That's a
sleuths
true
found out.
level of pettiness when
Yeah.
they don't even care if he knows
It's like
about it.
psychotic. Like, they have such a weird obsession with this
It's
man.
not like they went out of their way to make sure he knew about it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that actually makes him seem even cooler.
Like, it was just for their own satisfaction.
He's like, wow, I didn't even know. They're like, I think about you all the time. He's like, I don't think about you at all.
Yeah. To make things worse, it appears that some of Ryan Reynolds' scripts were written in violation of the Writers Guild strike in 2023.
I imagine that, like, look, I'm not a Hollywood insider, but I'm sure that stuff is rampant.
Oh, I'm sure it is, but now we have proof. I'm sure most of the time there was no way to prove it.
Don't worry, Pat the plumber. I don't think this is going to affect your Mint Mobile account.
No. In fact, that's what's going to keep Ryan Reynolds' career afloat if he gets blacklisted.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Ryan Reynolds was very clearly violating the Writers Guild strike in 2023 when he was collaborating with Blake on the rooftop scene.
It'll be interesting to see whether this affects his star power in movie roles. He's kind of he doesn't need to really worry about it. I don't think. I think he's so deep into the producer game now that he's kind of like a Mel Gibson. He can make whatever he wants and people might whine and cry.
Yeah.
But the people that are going to whine and cry against Mel Gibson are industry insiders. The people that are going to whine and cry about Ryan Reynolds would actually probably be the paying audience. If at all. I don't think he's going to ever have to worry about working. He's going to get plenty of work, but it may make some people hesitant to go and see his projects. But Hollywood platforms and hires plenty of despicable people. Somebody who just happens to be married to a woman who got into a bad PR battle doesn't even rate.
It takes a huge F up to reach the level of, like, Rachel Zegler unpopularity. Like, has Blake Lively reached that yet?
No.
Ryan Reynolds hasn't reached that.
It doesn't really matter for Blake Lively. They're not really comparable because Blake Lively is older and married to somebody. She doesn't need to work if she doesn't want to. Rachel Zegler's just at the start of her career.
Rachel Zegler needs to get married to someone with way more clout than her, like, real quick.
The point is that they're not really comparable. Like, Rachel Zegler's on the upswing trying to build a career. Blake Lively's playing side quests in her leisure time because she doesn't need to if she doesn't want to.
Yeah, the reason I wonder about that is just... you can see that online discourse reaches a certain fever pitch where you start seeing it on the shelves at grocery stores.
What do you mean?
And that's when it...
Oh, yeah.
The normie consciousness would be affected by it at a certain point. And I do think that legal and PR battle between Blake and Justin has gotten to that point where normies have at least heard about it now.
Also,
maybe it might affect the perception of what they do next.
Maybe I'm crazy, but like the reputation of a person who insults the source material and fans is way worse than somebody who just proves themselves to be a over the top, self-centered Hollywood egotist, which is how people perceive them anyways.
Well, Blake had some of that pushback when she was promoting It Ends With Us,
but
because they were saying she was
parcel with being a celebrity.
No, they were saying that she was trivializing the source material.
I'm thinking of Ryan Reynolds here, though. It's like the worst case scenario you can say for Ryan Reynolds here is he hitched his wagon to his wife, so he took his wife's side, which is what you would expect him to do anyways, and they tried to ruin another actor's life. Sad to say, but I think audiences care more if you're rude to them or insult their source material rather than you being mean to another actor. I see plenty of people in the comments are like, they're all rich losers. Like, who cares?
Well, it sounds like Justin Baldoni, if he was rich in the first place, he's not anymore.
Like, Ryan Reynolds is better off than your average person who screws up their career by dunking on fans and dunking on the material that they're supposed. Again, you cannot care about the material. You just can't hate on it. It's not that hard.
Well, in that case, maybe the right-wing support for Justin Baldoni is actually overstated, and people are more so making him into an avatar for someone who's falsely accused of sexual misconduct. But there was another string of text messages that was revealed on Justin Baldoni's website between him and Ryan Reynolds. And in this,
I had that pulled up, but I got rid of it. Yeah, but we're basically like he never responds.
Justin Baldoni essentially reaches out to Ryan Reynolds wanting to be friends.
He's like, hey, bro.
And he gets completely ghosted.
He's like, you're not part of my clique.
Yeah.
You're not in.
He's not cool. He's not like Taylor Swift. Yeah. He's not like one of the dragons. So you can't really get a text back. So Ryan Reynolds essentially ghosts Justin Baldoni, who's innocently reaching out to be friendly, because Blake had sent Justin's wife a friendly message, and he thought, let me return in kind so that we all have a respectful relationship. And Ryan Reynolds doesn't reply until many weeks later.
When he needs something.
When he needs a favor from Justin. And here is how he finishes off this very long response. He says, all this is to say, I would have your line producer's face tattooed to my perineum if he, she, or they can figure out how to start 2 weeks earlier. Completely understand how big of an ask this is, but the perineum is one of the most nervy parts of the human body to expose to trauma. So, looking forward to seeing you, and thank you again for all you're doing. I happen to adore you, Justin. XO.
Awful.
Who says shit like that to a complete stranger?
You can see it you can hear it in his voice too.
It's like, is he ever out of character? Who is the real Ryan Reynolds?
Mm-hmm.
Like, all we know about him so far is that he's clearly a control freak. Mm-hmm. He is clearly power drunk, and maybe he's earned the right to be both of those things. Yep. But it seems to be catching up to him, at least in the public perception of things. And unlike longtime friend of Blake's, Taylor Swift, Ryan Reynolds doesn't have the option to distance himself. And I just want to show this TikTok from Bethany Frankel talking about the reverberating consequences of a lawsuit like this for their industry. I find it really interesting.
Remember, I said that the tactic of Justin Baldoni's lawyers to include Taylor Swift in the lawsuit was nothing short of Machiavellian, because I knew that Taylor's name, her team would be like, we got a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, quote unquote, for me, and we don't want to be part of this at all. And now she is running for cover and leaving Blake for dead because they don't want any part of this. And that was a tactic. And I keep saying this is the craziest, by far, legal situation to ever hit the entertainment industry. The movie business has never experienced a lawsuit like this that has so many tentacles. It is crazy, and it is the fuck around and find out endless lawsuit. That lawsuit is longer than January, which is 3 years old. Remember,
Okay.
And I think what she means there is it's the F around and find out of Me Too.
Yeah.
This is kind of the death blow, not only for Blake Lively's credibility, but also the credibility of Me Too in general.
I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but I just imagine Ryan Reynolds waits a couple of years and produces another movie. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the size and scope of this case has reached a point now where it will affect him. But I just imagine that he would be able to continue to act.
But if he testifies in a televised trial, for
he has to
everyone
talk
to watch,
like this.
That's not gonna be good for him. I just want to say I never liked the cut of his jib.
There you go. And Mary was very offended when she realized that he was Canadian earlier. She didn't know he was Canadian.
Like, I didn't know I could dislike him more.
Yeah.
But I somehow do.
Well, they backed down on those tariffs in like 10 seconds anyways, guys. So, all right.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.